director de este proyecto regional, quien nos hablará sobre los alcances de esta iniciativa.
Hola. Bueno, primero, yo no soy bueno para los vocativos, así que me uno a los vocativos. ¿Ah? Me sumo a todos los vocativos anteriormente mencionados. Ahora, bueno, vamos a compartir un momento con nuestra invitada, pero antes de darle el paso a Julie Wagner, yo quería agradecer al gobierno regional, en particular aquí en la presencia de Iván, por creer en una iniciativa que es muy ambiciosa, que es difícil de llevar a cabo, pero que es necesaria en nuestra ciudad y en nuestra región particularmente. Y al mismo tiempo agradecerle al Consejo Regional por la visión que tiene en apoyar la innovación tecnológica, el emprendimiento de base científica tecnológica y la investigación y desarrollo en general, que no es algo común en distintas regiones del país y no es algo común en distintas regiones a través del mundo. Me toca presentar a Julie Wagner, que nos va a acompañar hoy desde Suiza, desde la ciudad de Lugano. Julie, ¿ahí está Julie? Okay. Hi Julie, how are you?
Thank you, hello. Can you hear me?
Como yo les contaba, en Lugano en este momento en Suiza, ella es parte de un grupo, yo diría, de estudio social, tecnológico, que justamente desarrolló ya hace poco más, de 10 años, el concepto de Distrito de Innovación. Ella lo va a explicar de mejor manera que yo. Es un concepto que hoy está muy extendido alrededor del mundo, en función de distintas experiencias que ciudades de diferentes características, ya sea en países desarrollados y países en vía en desarrollo, han justamente seguido para implementar sus exitosos distritos de innovación. So, Julie, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. So, the floor is
Fantastic.
yours, Julie. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you. And yes, I am talking to you from Switzerland, from Lugano. And I will share just a few slides of, honestly, some important insights from the last 15 years of work exclusively on the rise of innovation districts. So in 2014, when I was with the Brookings Institution, which is the largest think tank in the United States, it's based in Washington, D.C., we wrote the paper, The Rise of Innovation Districts, and we were observing a very interesting trend that was emerging around the world. And it was essentially being defined as the antithesis or the opposite of research parks and office parks, because they combine academic institutions, corporate R&D, startups, entrepreneurial support organizations in mixed-use communities, in places where there are mixed activities, mixed different types of people of different ages, with different kinds of amenities, leisure, other types of culture that can promote creativity and collaboration. We described it as the ultimate mashup. And so this paper had a tremendous amount of interest globally. Thousands of people were situating themselves in this story, in part because of a new drive for local economic development, building off of very specific and strong R&D strengths. What I'd like to do, though, in my short time is just really in a very clear way indicate what separates innovation districts from office parks and science parks. And because it's really quite important. So the office park has no ambition to create a center of R&D. They're office spaces, and they're office spaces for a range of companies and firms in the knowledge economy. So it can be from accounting to advertising to technology, when they're just in their own space in these office parks. Science parks, on the other hand, do have a deep ambition to create a center of R&D. They have R&D actors, they have the kinds of infrastructure that's needed to really drive and advance and accelerate the research to development pipeline. So do innovation districts. This is where science parks and innovation districts are similar. They both have that deep ambition to create a center of R&D. But there's other differences that are really important to identify. So again, back to office spaces, if we look at the actual physical buildings themselves, they're office spaces, traditional office spaces, and some have restaurants in this model. Some don't, but it really ranges, but it's an office-oriented geography. Science parks have R&D spaces, office, and some restaurants. So they have work and innovation spaces. As I said before, they have those innovation labs and facilities that allow them to undertake R&D, complex R&D activities. Innovation districts are very different from this in that their focus is around creating a mixed-use community of which the R&D activities is an important actor or anchor to this geography. So it will have those same kinds of R&D spaces, but many of them are trying to infuse housing, that neighborhood, retail, restaurants, grocery stores, culture, museums, to create that mashup. So you have, from a financing perspective, a whole new set of financial stacks, really, that have to be coordinated when you're thinking about developing a district. If you look at them all across, then you see that there'll be some similarities between the science park and the innovation district. But if you go down to the bottom of this slide, and now let's just do one last comparison, which is ecosystem building. Office parks are not generally designed to be thinking about a collaborative ecosystem model. Science parks, some do it quite well. Many don't do it nearly as well as they could. Innovation districts are trying to build on physical proximity and using that as the lever for driving a collaborative innovation play. This is something that they work on very, very deeply. And so you can see, again, some important distinctions between these. So when we work with innovation districts, and like I've said before, I've been in this space exclusively for over 15 years. The Milan Innovation District, you can see it's anchored by 3 strong R&D actors, but now they're creating a tremendous mix of housing and retail and office to create this community. This is the same story in St. Louis in the United States with the Cortex Innovation Community. Strong push for startups, accelerating their growth, which has actually grown and attracted a lot of large companies to be near these startups with a growing R&D presence from the universities. And then in Israel, the Beersheba Innovation District, here I've actually played a deep role in shaping their strategy. They have the university, a medical center, a high-tech park lodged within this bigger innovation district, and the Israeli Defense Force digital campus of 5,000 elite researchers and workers. And then lastly, Melbourne Innovation District in Australia, located in the midtown of that city, tremendous number of institutions, both public and private, and they have a very strong focus on biomedical and health sciences. All of these have a very different flavor for how they want to design the public space, for the kinds of problems that they want to solve, but they are all anchored, importantly, by R&D strong institutions that have demonstrated R&D strengths that surpass the regional, if not national averages on many, many indicators. So I'm going to stop here. I wanted to just give you the highlights, if you will, of what separates an innovation districts from other kinds of geographies, and to emphasize that even with those differences, innovation districts themselves, and you can see here, they're so uniquely different from different place to different community to different region. And so to really embrace and value the differences that you have where you are. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Julie. As always, a very interesting presentation. Here is very, very hot. So I bet in Lugano it's very cold right now.
Very cold.
So I don't know, maybe we can take one question, Julie, if you're
Sure.
okay with that. So si alguien tiene una pregunta para Julie, la traducimos aquí y se la planteamos a ella. Sofía. O ponla tú.
Hello, Julie. Nice to meet you. Sofia Valenzuela here from the ministry, representing the Ministry of Science Technology of our country. I have one question. What would you say are the bottlenecks in order to start up a new innovation district? Considering that in our region, we have more or less 3 universities doing research. We have some companies, but most of the companies are their governmental issues are based at Santiago, so they don't have many people making decision here. So we have some bottlenecks, but besides those, which ones or else would you say we have to overcome?
I'd say that one of the most important obstacles that many districts have, especially in early stages, is clarifying their unique value proposition. And this includes many things. One is, where are they particularly strong from an R&D perspective? And to know what those strengths are across universities. So if you have 3 universities within an innovation district, that's really interesting. What are their combined strengths and where are their particular convergent strengths that actually could be some very important niche that gives you an added advantage? So having a clarity of your R&D strengths across your actors is critical. And then with that, to identify your shared agenda. Where do you want to work on as a collective to really have this collaborate to compete strategy that makes you stronger together as a collective? And then from there, right, and that takes time, right, because everyone has sort of their own list of where they think they're strong and where they need to focus, but where do you focus together? And then where are those particular advantages that are moving from the R to the D? Where are you particularly strong, or are you strong in moving from the R to the D? And that really needs to be understood. And if it's not even all that clear, then, you know, what are the things that are going to be attractive to companies and industry to make them want to come and stay and be in your presence? And so really unpacking and understanding what is going to attract industry investment takes some real time. And it's a sophisticated set of analysis and discussions and collaborative discussions as a group, and figuring out who else, what other companies and startups and scale-ups really would be the right ones to have to strengthen your ecosystem, right? This is not a strategy to just have anyone. It's a strategic strategy to think through who else should be in your circle to create and solve very, very specific problems that as a collective you could work on together. That is both fascinating and very difficult work to do. And it really requires someone to have a strong command at orchestrating and facilitating across actor. But it's wonderful work. And so I encourage you to do it.
Thank you very much, Julie. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hope to see you one day here, down here in Chile.
I would love that.
This is a beautiful place full of warm people.
I can tell. Yeah.
So thank you very much, Julie, for your time.
Okay.
We know that you're very busy in Lugano, so and we're gonna keep working very hard in shaping and building our own innovation district here. Thank you, Julie.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.